There we go.
Hi.
Hello. How are
Good.
you?
How are you?
There we go.
Hi.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us this
Thank
morning.
thank you for
Good.
having
Thank you
me. I'm
so much
excited.
for joining
Of
us this
course.
morning.
Thank you for
So
having
before
me.
we
I'm
even
excited.
jump in and speak a little bit more about the power of advocacy and mentorship, on our fertility journey, do you want to introduce yourself on a fertility journey? Do you want to
Sure.
introduce yourself
So I
to
am
the Yesh
Hallie
Tikva
Longman. I
community?
am
Sure.
a
So I
infertility
am Hallie
advocate,
Longman. I am
writer,
a
and
infertility
IVF mom.
advocate,
I had
writer,
secondary infertility.
and
We'll go into that a little
IVF
bit
mom.
more.
I had
But
secondary
yeah, I'm a
infertility.
writer
We'll
in
go
the
into that a
space, so
little bit more.
I focus mostly on
But yeah,
reproductive
I'm a
health
writer in the
and
space, so I focus mostly on
infertility,
reproductive
and I
health
also do some
and
parenting and
infertility,
pregnancy content
and
as
I also
well.
do some parenting
And I have an
and
experience as a writer. I've
pregnancy
been a writer
content
for
as well.
15 years now,
And
and
I
I
have
kind
an
of
experience
delved
as a
into
writer.
this
I've been a writer for
a couple
15
years
years
ago
now,
when
and
I
I
started
started
my journey.
delved into this
That's amazing.
a couple
Well,
years ago
thank you
when
so
I
much
started
for
my
being here
journey.
with us. That's amazing. Well, thank you so
The
much
first
for being here with us.
question,
As you kind of laid the groundwork about secondary infertility is,
as you kind of laid the
groundwork
oh no,
about
what happened?
secondary
It says you
infertility
are
is,
unable to join. Are you still here?
oh no, what happened? It says you are
Oh no,
unable
it
to join. Are you
froze.
still here?
Oh no, it froze.
Allie, you still there? Allie, you still there? Hallie?
Oh no, it froze.
Hallie?
Oh, oh no,
It
it
froze.
froze.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, all good.
Um,
I'm here.
it froze.
Okay, you're
I don't
here.
know what
Amazing.
Okay,
happened.
all good.
So
I'm here.
let's start.
Okay, you're here. Amazing.
If you'd be open to sharing a little
Let's
bit
start
about your own journey and what
if you'd
led
be
you
open to
into
sharing a little
becoming
bit about
an advocate
your own
and
journey and
choosing
what
to
led you
use
into
your
becoming
incredible skill
an
as a
advocate
writer
and choosing
to
use
focus
your
on
incredible
supporting
skill
those
as a
who
writer
are
pursuing
to
their fertility
focus on
journeys.
supporting those who
Sure.
are
Okay, so a
pursuing
little
their
bit of my
fertility
background. So I had
journeys.
secondary infertility.
Sure.
I had no
Okay, so
issues
a
with
little
my
bit of
first
my
son.
background. So I had secondary
With my
infertility.
first
I had
child,
no
he was
issues
like
with my
very
first
uneventful
son.
pregnancy, very
With
uneventful
my
first
TTC
child. He
journey.
was like very uneventful
And
pregnancy,
then
very
I ended
uneventful
up with
TTC
3.5
journey.
years of trying to conceive
And
number
then I
two.
ended up with 3.5
So in
years
that
of trying
time,
to
I did
conceive
number
three
two.
IUIs. I had four egg
So in that
retrievals.
time, I
had
did
a
a
three
miscarriage.
IUIs.
I
I
had
had
4
ectopic
ectopic pregnancies.
pregnancy.
I had a termination for medical
I had
reasons.
ectopic pregnancy.
I
I had a
ended up switching
termination for
clinics
medical
after all
reasons
that
and transferring a
I ended
mosaic
up
embryo
switching
that my
clinics
first
after all
clinic
that
wouldn't
and
transfer.
transferring a mosaic embryo that my
And
first
now that's
clinic
my
wouldn't
baby.
transfer.
It's kind of a
And
crazy
now that's
story,
my
and I'm
baby.
always
So
also like a very big advocate for
it's kind of a
mosaic
crazy
embryos, which is a
story,
whole
and I'm
nother story. I'm also like a
it's
very big
basically an
advocate
embryo
for
that has
mosaic embryos, which is a
abnormal
whole
end
nother
of the
normal
story.
cells, and there's
It's
like all this
basically an
research
embryo that
coming out
has
about how those are like
abnormal end
actually
normal cells,
becoming
and there's like
babies.
all this research coming out about how
So
those are
now I
like
have a 10
actually
month old.
becoming babies.
But while I was on this
So
journey,
now I have a
I
10-month
was
old.
writing about
But
this
while I was on
stuff
this journey,
from a
I was
patient perspective,
writing
also as a
about
writer,
this stuff
and just kind
from
of
a
realizing
patient
like there
perspective,
was sort
also as a
of
writer.
not and just kind of
Enough
realizing like there was sort
people that
of
had
not
experienced it sort of talking about it
enough
unless you're like an
enough
influencer or a
people that had
celebrity. There weren't a
experienced
lot of
it
like
sort of
regular
talking about it
people
unless you're like an influencer or a
talking
celebrity.
about
There
it.
weren't a lot of like
So I
regular
started
people
sharing about my
talking
journey.
about it.
So I
And as
started
well as
sharing
writing,
about my
started
journey,
sharing my journey just in bits and
and as
pieces,
well
not
as
like
writing
everything in real
started sharing my
time.
journey just in
And
bits and
people started
pieces, not like
responding really well
everything in real time.
and
Just
people
saying
started
thank
responding
you for
really well.
sharing, and I'm going through the same
Just saying
thing. Thank you for
and it
sharing,
kind of made
and
me
I'm
realize
going
that
through the
there was
same
a really
thing.
big kind of
And it
opportunity
kind
for
of made me realize
advocacy,
that there was a really big kind of
in the Jewish
opportunity for
community, but just
advocacy
in general.
in the Jewish
And
community, but just
such a
in general.
meaningful space to be able to and be here. such a I think meaningful that space what to be able to
I've
be here.
heard from so
I think
many
that
experienced, and
I've
you're
heard from so
highlighting
many
is that
experienced,
often
and
when you're a 1 in
you're
6, you focus on
highlighting
the
is that
one,
often when you're
and
a
it
1 in
feels like
6,
you're
you
the
focus on the
only.
one.
But when a
And it
statistic
feels like
that
you're
big
the
of nearly
only.
20% of the
But when a
population
statistic that
is
big
facing
of
a
nearly
journey like you,
20% of the population
it's
is
facing a
1
journey
in
like
6
you
to say
it
this
takes
is my journey
a
for
1 in
others to
6
start
to say
jumping in
this
and
is my
saying, oh
journey.
wow, for
I
others
am
to
not
start
just a 1.
jumping in and saying,
There
oh
are
wow,
so many
I
others
am
of
not
me
just
or
a
like
1.
me out
There
there
are
that
so
I
many
can connect
others
to,
of me
and the
or
bravery
like
that
me
it
out
takes
there
to be
that
that
I can
first,
connect to,
and
to
the
put out
bravery
your
that it
story so
takes to
that
be that
others can then
first,
feel confident and
to put out your
comfortable,
story so that others
is
can
so
then
important
feel
and so
confident
beautiful.
and
So
comfortable.
thank you.
Is so
Yes, I
important
agree.
and so beautiful. So thank you.
And so
Yes,
You've
I agree.
used your voice
and
now
so
to create this
you've
space
used
of
your
advocacy
voice
through
now
writing,
to
and
create
also
this space
you
of
have become an
advocacy
incredible
through
peer
writing.
mentor for
And
others
then
who are going
also
through
you
this.
have become an
Did
incredible peer
mentorship
mentor
play a
for
role
others
in
who are
your
going through
personal
this.
journey?
Did
That then
mentorship play a role
kind
in
of
your
set
personal
the
journey
stage to say
that
I
then
want to become a mentor,
kind of
or
set
what was
the
it
stage
that
to say I
set
want
you
to
up
become
a mentor, or what was
I
it
actually
that set you up
really
to
didn't
wanting
have a
to
mentor when
mentor
I was
others?
going through it. My mentor really didn't have a mentor when I was going through it. I did a lot of Google rabbit holing, and I would not recommend that route. I did a lot of Google rabbit holing. So when I was going through it, and I needed that route guidance, and I had no idea what I was doing. I joined a lot of guidance, and I had no idea what I was doing. I followed like every single Instagram account that was relevant. I followed, and that was kind of how I started Instagram account that was relevant. What I should be asking my clinic, that was kind of just like advocating for myself and all what I should be asking my clinic, and just like advocating for myself and all those things. There's so many things I've done differently. And I really wish if I had had somebody kind of guiding me, I would have maybe if I had had not learned the hard way, I would have. So that not learned the hard way, made me want to help other people that are just starting out, because there's so many things like I wish, for example, that are just starting out. I had done a different lab. So many things like I wish, for example, I had switched clinics. I had done a different lab for PT. I wish I had looked for certain things that I just didn't even think about. I wish I had looked for certain things that I just didn't even think about. Women that are just starting out, I can say like, hey, don't do what I did. That are just starting out, I can say like, hey, don't do what I did. They have somebody that they can kind of bounce questions off of too. They have somebody that they can kind of bounce questions off of too, which
I'm sorry that you did not have that. And it is so beautiful that you saw that void in what you were lacking. And it is so beautiful that you saw that void in what you were lacking. This would have made all the difference in my experience. Let me take my experience. This would have made all the difference in my experience. Let me take my experience so that they don't have to go that I can show up for others. And I think that there is a piece where no matter who your mentor is, and I think that there is a piece no matter what experience, no matter who your mentor is, and life experience, no matter what experience others have had to play out, life experience learn it, sometimes just as opposed to being able to always to then learn it, as opposed to being able to always prevent, so to say, others from experiencing it. But what I've also learned, so to say, others from experiencing sometimes, but what I've also learned in this space is that for you, sometimes did work for you, just because it didn't work inherently mean, and I think that the piece that doesn't always inherently mean, and I think that the piece and you're saying like about what you do, that you're educating, do the research, and you're saying because the more you know, the more you can ask research, because the more you know, the more you get in this process of being able to say, well, the further you get in this process of being able to say, well, should we be transferring that? Mosaics, it's not that blanket. Should we or should we be transferring that? Or you can't. Not that, and it's having that conversation, and that's such an integral piece, and it's having that conversation, bringing to light here is that there's more than a bringing to light here is that there's more than a black and white talk about the grades here, and advocate for ourselves, and the more we can talk about the grade and advocate for ourselves, the labs with our doctors in making these choices, the labs that we use in making these choices, hopefully the better care.
Yep.
So
agree.
Not everyone has the ability, desire. Not everyone has the ability, desire, or platform necessarily to share their personal stories. In your experience, what are other ways that individuals can advocate for the fertility community while still keeping for the fertility community while still keeping
so I mean, I think like I always say, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a therapist. So I mean, I think like I always say, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a writer to sort of advocate. But I kind of found a way to use my skills as a writer to sort of advocate. Perhaps there's some skills that you have as a professional that you can advocate. Skills that you have as a professional that you can revealing yourself, so to speak. Obviously, we have like revealing yourself coming up. I believe it's April 20th. There's going to be a lot of talk about that on Instagram, on social media. There's going to be a lot of talk about that on Instagram, on social media. Sharing something, showing your support as an ally. Sharing something, just showing your support as an ally. Showing your support. Obviously, you can donate. There's plenty of organizations you can donate to if you have the means to do that. There's plenty of organizations you can donate to if you have the means to do that. That's obviously like you can call your legislation, not an immediate of a result. Like a longer process. There are ways to go about it. But there are ways to go about it. Obviously, I totally respect it. Some people don't want to share their stories, and I have plenty of friends that didn't go public. Some people don't want to share their stories, and I have plenty of friends that didn't go public. Something to be said for anybody. But I do think that can kind of do it in their own way. For kind of support the community. Can kind of do it in their own way.
For sure, and to add to that, Yesh Tikva has so many opportunities. For sure, and to add to that, Yesh Tikva has so many from that space that individuals can get involved advocacy for others. From that space of if there is anyone watching for others who is looking to get more involved, if there is anyone watching someone who's gone through who is looking to get more involved, whether you are someone who's gone through a fertility those facing a fertility journey, friend, family member, we are here to help those facing guide you towards we are here to help guide mentors as well as others that we have that have a mentor as well as others a peer mentor have in which one can including becoming the privacy of peer mentor experience in which one can keep the privacy of their own experience they connect with as opposed to necessarily the individuals that they connect with as opposed to necessarily publicly sharing it so on a larger platform. As someone who's written about this and someone who's so open about your journey, as someone who's written about this and someone who's so open about your journey, what is something you wish just starting out people who haven't experienced pregnancy that isn't yet starting out on their journey so out there, or maybe is just yet people aren't necessarily so out there, or maybe is just
well, I think there's a misconception that
necessarily
infertility is like an anxiety disorder.
Well, I think there's a
or something.
misconception
like,
that
oh,
infertility is like
calm down,
an
you'll be
anxiety
fine,
disorder
you know,
or something.
you'll get
Like,
pregnant,
oh,
like,
you'll just calm
it's
down,
an
you'll be
actual
fine.
diagnosis,
You know,
it's a
you'll get
medical
pregnant,
condition,
and I think a lot of people
it's
don't know
an
that.
actual
And I think
diagnosis, it's a
unless
medical
you're in it,
condition,
you
and I
don't
think a
really
lot of
realize
people don't
that.
know that. And I think
Unless
so
you're in
that's
it,
also
you don't
part
really
of
realize
what I'm
that.
trying to do in my
Um,
work
so
is,
that's also part of
you
what I'm
know,
trying
just
to do
not
in my
to
work
diminish
is
the causes
you
of
know,
infertility
just not
and the
to
people that are going
diminish
through it.
the causes of infertility and people that are going through it. I think that's super
someone once
important.
said this and it really resonated. Stress doesn't cause
Someone once
infertility.
said this and it really
Infertility causes
resonated.
stress.
Correct.
Stress doesn't cause
The
infertility.
deep breathing
Infertility
that we
causes
need to do
stress.
is
Correct.
because
the
the
medical
deep breathing that we need to do
diagnosis
is because
increased
the
stress.
medical diagnosis
So
has
love that
caused
point.
increased
If
stress.
we're
So
about
love
to
that
conclude.
point.
If there was
If
one thing that you wish
we're about to
everyone
conclude,
who watched
if there was
this would
one
take away
thing
from
that you
it,
wish
what
everyone who
is
watched
that
this
one
would take
message
away
that
from
you
it?
hope that
What
everyone
is
carries from
that
this
one
conversation?
message that you hope that
I think it's
everyone
just about the
carries
power
from
of
this
community
conversation?
because truly, like,
I think
like
it's
I
just
said,
about
I
the
wish
power
I
of
had had
community
more
because truly, like
personal
I said, I
one-on-one
wish I had had
resources when I
more
was really in the thick of
personal
it.
one-on-one
And
resources when
the
I was
community
really
that
in
I
the thick
eventually
of it.
found in these Facebook groups and
And the
Instagrams,
community that I eventually found in these Facebook groups and these
organizations.
Instagrams,
That's really what got me through.
organizations.
So
That's really what
just
got me
don't do
through.
it alone. Like don't, like I said, don't be that Google
just
rabbit hole
don't do
girl
it
who's
alone.
just like
Don't, like I
driving
said,
herself
don't be that
crazy
Google
because of
rabbit
what she's
hole
reading
girl who's
online.
just like
Really try to
driving
just find
herself
somebody,
crazy
even
because of what
again,
she's
it could
reading
be
online.
anonymous.
Really try to
Just try to
find
find
somebody, even again,
somebody
it
that
could
can
be
help you
anonymous.
through it.
Just try to
Who's been
find
there, done that.
somebody
Not
that can help
necessarily
you
just a
through
family
it.
or a friend. It
It
really
really
has
has
to
to
be
be
someone
someone
who's
who's done it and experienced it for themselves.
It really has to be someone who's done it and experienced it themselves. That should be the biggest takeaway because it's so important. And I think, and obviously that's what you guys are doing. So because it's so important. And
I
obviously
love
that's
that.
what you
And
guys are doing.
Fertility
So
Friends is
Because of that,
I
it's
love
one of our
that.
most
And
popular
Fertility
resources.
Friends is
Because
you
of
get
that,
to
it's one of
connect
our
with
most
just one
popular
person.
resources.
If you're not ready to
Because
put it
you
out
get to
there
connect with
in
just one
public,
person.
it's
And if
easy
you're not ready
or
to put it out there
connect to one
in public,
person.
it's easy.
If one other
for
person who's
sometimes
gone
to
through
connect
this,
to one
who
person.
understands
If
that
one
what
other
happens
person
in
who's
Vegas
gone
stays
through
in
this,
Vegas in these
who understands
conversations,
that what
can
happens
be
in
there
Vegas
for
stays in
me,
Vegas,
then
in these
at least I'm not
conversations
completely alone.
can be there for
and
me.
hopefully that
Then
means
at least individuals being able to become part of a larger community of realizing that individuals being able to you're not just a larger community going through this, but you're one of you're not just one going through this, but want to be there for each other. And though it's not the community we want to be there for each other, and though it's not the community we wanted to join, no one sets out jump through hoops, I want to inject myself, I want to jump through bring a doctor into my sex life. No one goes into bring a doctor into my sex life. No one goes into life saying that's how I want to build my family. But once we're in this community, I think we each find that it is such a that we build over a struggle together, that we build over a struggle together. There is no better community than the fertility community. So thank you for being a part of our fertility community.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you for being a part of helping make it a
Of
beautiful
course,
place
thank you.
for individuals who
a beautiful
not
place
wanting to be
for
land here.
individuals
What is it they say?
who
Work
not
club
wanting
best
to be
members. I
land
think
here.
is what they say about
What is it they say?
infertility.
Work
So
club
I
best
totally
members.
I think is what they say about infertility.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much
I
for making the
totally
time to help educate
Thank
us
you.
on
Thank you so much for making the time
ways
to help
educate us on
support each other and
advocacy,
ourselves
give
through
us
this
ways
journey, and
to help
being
support
an
each other
incredible
and
advocate
ourselves
through this journey, and
Gila, I
for
appreciate it.
being an incredible
Thanks.
advocate.
Have a great day.
Gila, I appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.